Hi, I'm Zachary, Taylor here at the Alamo, and welcome to our Homespun event. Today I will be showing you something very important in this current time, and that is how to make a CDC approved face mask. But what we've got here are the pre-cut pieces for a very simple face mask. And as you can see, we still have our Texas pride. Now, the most important thing for making a mask that is safe to use is making sure you have the right kind of fabric. You need a woven cotton fabric, no polyester, no nylon, no linen, and nothing but cotton. And you have to make sure it's the right thickness of weave. Now, an easy way to tell is to take the fabric and fold it over once. If you cannot see through it, then it will work. You also want to bring it up and make sure you can still breathe through it. If you can do both of those, the fabric is safe to turn into a mask. It is important to note, do not use shirt material. That is a knit fabric, not a woven fabric, so it's too porous and doesn't serve the purpose of protecting you from germs. Now, the most difficult part of this is going to be the pleating. Now, a properly made face mask is going to have several pleats in it. So I'm going to pin this together and show you how to do that process. All right, so now we're going to take our ruler, or in my case, my square rule, and we are going to put it up next to the fabric. Now, 1.5 inches from the top, we are going to make a mark. So, 1.5 inches. Now from there, we are going to make a mark 1 inch down, then 1/2 inch, then 1 inch, then 1/2 inch, and then another inch. And from there to the bottom should be exactly 1.5 inches. And we're going to repeat this process on the other side as well. So we're going to put this on. One and a half. A little hard to see white on white, but you can still tell it's there. 1, 1/2 inch. And you keep going from there. So now, what you'll do is you'll take those lines and you'll fold them together and you'll put a pin in it. Now that's to hold it together while you're stitching. Now you'll repeat that process again. So there should be about a 1/2 inch gap between the pleats. Make one more. And done. Now you'll have to stitch that together. If you have a sewing machine, you can sew it together with a very tight chain stitch. However, if you're sewing by hand like I am, you'll want to do a back stitch the whole way. So I'm going to get my thread. I like to usually have about 1 arm's length of thread. Any more than that and it becomes a little cumbersome to sew with. And now I'll quickly backstitch this together in order to show you what a pleated part of the face mask should look like. Alright, so here we see the backstitch has been completed and you can see the pleats are now keeping their shape. So when you put the mask on, it's going to be able to wrap around your face, but when you're not wearing it, you'll be able to fold it flat with no problems. So now I'm going to show you how to put the trim on the edge of this. Now what I like to do is take this part and cut it down just a little bit. This is just going to help you hide those stitches when you put the edge on. You don't have to do this, but I just think it makes it look better in the end. So now you'll take these smaller pieces and you will fold them into the center and then fold them in half again. Now if you're at home, I highly recommend you use an iron to press this into place, but there's a little quick cheat you can do if you don't have an iron on hand. And that is take it against a 90-degree angle, and there you go. So what you'll do now is just pin that into place and stitch it on. Now there will be a lot of overlap with the edges, but that's perfectly fine. The pattern is designed to give you a little extra give, just in case you need it. And now we will stitch that on with the same back stitch as before, or if you're using a machine, the same chain stitch that you used before. And now that the trim has been put on, we're going to cut it down, or trim the trim. And with this, we bring it down so that it sits flush with the edges of the fabric. This way, when we go to put the actual string on, which is going to be made from this piece of trim, we'll be able to tie the mask off. And you'll do this the same way you did the previous piece of trim. You're going to fold it in on itself and then fold that in half and press it so that you can more easily sew it on. Once again, you will back stitch or chain stitch with a machine this onto the top. And the final product should look a little something like this. Now this is a perfectly usable face mask, and the way that you will put it on, put it over your nose, tie it around the back, and tie the bottom part under your chin back around. And there you have it. Now feel free to get creative with these masks. You can, like I did, make it look like your state flag. You could put stars on it, you could draw on it. Whatever you do, just make it your own. Stay safe out there, remember the Alamo, and thank you for coming to Homespun 2020.